Thanks for doing this. Just first off, what are the Saints getting Bub?
The first thing I'm going to tell you about Bub Means, um, and again, we know he can run. You guys saw that. He can catch. He works real hard. But the thing I love about Bub is that all the coaches are going to enjoy coaching him. I think we take that for granted that, oh, yeah, he's going to be a great guy to coach. I think he's one of those guys that's going to have a smile on his face every day. If he doesn't have a smile on his face every day, you call me up in Pittsburgh, and I'm going to find out what's wrong. But he's a guy that's going to come to the facility and work and have fun. He's one of our hardest workers. In Pittsburgh, we talk about being Pittsburgh tough, Steel City, city of champions, and again, Bub is one of those guys that fit into our culture. And when he transferred from Louisiana, and he's a guy that is just a guy that's got a great attitude. And we know he's got deep ball potential. He's got great hands, and he's going to work and be the best player he can be.
Coach, he talks a lot about, a lot of stuff he said seemed to be kind of like team first. Like if you don't block, you don't get the rock, a lot of stuff like that. Like just kind of, does he kind of have like a selfless approach that stands out?
Yeah, he really does. We talk about, we, not me a bunch, talk about it a bunch, but, Bub, again, when I say that smile on his face, it's a smile every day. Okay. Matter of fact, he transferred in, and I want to say this first scrimmage, he didn't have a catch. And I called him up because I know how that receiver room is not usually, the easiest room to work with. You talk about just probably the hardest room in college football and in the National Football League to really coaches, all the egos you have in that room. They all want the ball. So after the first scrimmage, I'm like, oh, man, Bub didn't get the ball. Not a catch. I called him. He goes, Coach, I don't care. Okay. He goes, I just want to play football, and I want to give you the best I've got. So that's who he is. And let me just tell you, that's 1 out of 20 in a receiver room. Okay. It really is. That's who I think you got. And I talked to Jeff Ireland, a week ago, and he asked about Bub. And, thing I respect about the Saints is, they do their homework. They do it right. And again, there's not a lot of GMs I talk around the country, and I think every year I get a yearly call from Jeff Ireland.
Coach, what was it like for yourself? I mean, recruiting him, Louisiana Tech, he's from the South, and how you got him to Pitt and why he wanted to go there to Pitt.
Yeah, obviously, that transfer portal opened. They had a new coach down there, and it was actually pretty easy. Bub came up on a visit. He loved the North. He loved Pittsburgh. He loved the city. It's a beautiful city. People don't realize how beautiful it is. And I always say this: 3 out of 4 kids that walk on this campus on an official visit commit to Pitt. And I know there's a Pitt hat in that room right now. And I know, Doug understands what I'm talking about, but it was easy. It was easy. And, when he came up, he just fell in love with the place. And, we were lucky enough to get Bub come to Pitt.
What do you think makes him so smiley all the time?
I'm not sure. I'm sure you guys just, did a Zoom with him. I mean, he probably had a smile and couldn't, and it, not just because he got drafted. Okay. When he has a drop, he's going to put a smile on his face, and he's going to, come back and work harder and get better at whatever the issues are, because nothing's ever easy. But I don't know. I mean, obviously he obviously was raised the right way. I think he's got great parents. They came up for his senior day at Pitt. And again, Bub's a guy that could have had another year eligibility at the collegiate level, but decided to go. But I'm assuming it's something the way he was raised, and I think his mom dad did a great job.
Coach, we can obviously see him on the field. What's he like behind the scenes, just as a student of the game and in the classroom and all that?
Yeah, I mean, he's a worker. I mean, I don't think you get on the field in college football if you don't work, put in the extra tape. He's a guy that knows how to recognize. He came from a pro style offense, so he understands how to recognize coverage. He's gonna, he's gonna know how to run the routes versus different coverages and break off routes. Those are all things he's been taught. I think the one thing we talk a lot about at Pitt. And again, I think it's, through college football, is our guys are coming out, they're prepared mentally, not just physically for the game, but they're prepared mentally for the next level. We've had, all kinds of skill guys go out and even when they go to senior day or senior bowls, wherever it is, and they're like, Coach, we know more than the rest of the guys in the room. So we do a great job of coaching our players and developing them into NFL prospects.
What are some of the keys to your guys' approach that makes them so prepared?
You know what? I think it comes down to coaching. I think it comes down to your philosophy. Like, again, being a defensive coordinator, a defensive guy, like, it's not just how many coverages you're going to run or, what route concepts you're going to run. I mean, let's run them well and let's make sure we convert our routes versus coverage. So, I just think I've done a great job at, assembling coaching staff that understands coverages and are coaching those details. I think nowadays you get some of these fast tempo offenses that are going and they're running routes and it's just like, I'm supposed to run a post. And, if it's man free or cover 3 and there's a guy in the middle of the field, they're just going to run that post. We're going to try to get guys open and try to convert our routes the best we can. So he's going to be a smart guy that's going to have a ton of knowledge walking into the Saints.
Coach, you also had Nathan Peterman there. Can you tell us a little bit about him?
Yeah, Nathan, another great one that, transferred from Tennessee and, from Florida, from the Jacksonville area, I believe. And Nathan gets still playing in the league, wasn't good enough to play at Tennessee. And we developed him as well. Nathan's was a great one. And we thought he was an NFL quarterback, and obviously he played great football for us.
All right.
Thank you.
Coach. Appreciate it.
Hey, Coach, can you tell them about your relationship with Darren Rizzi before you hang up?
Yeah, Darren, he's an old Rhode Island guy. He called and asked me about, or texted me and asked me about Bub as well. And I know him being a great special teams guy. Again, we have, Rhode Island ties, coached him up at the University of Rhode Island and followed his coaching career. He's a tremendous football coach as well as, great person. But Darren, shot me a text saying, hey, tell me about this Bub Means guy. And I said, hey, not only can he play receiver, but he's going to be an excellent special teams guy for you. He'll do whatever you ask him to do, and he's smart.
All right.
Anything else for Coach Narduzzi?
I think we're all good.
Thank you, Coach. Much appreciated. Enjoy Saturday afternoon.
Thank you. You too. Enjoy it. Hail to Pitt.
Hail to Pitt.